Hey, what's up, guys? It is Rob, and I'm back with a brand new video. This is not going to be DVDs or Blu-rays or anything like that. It's actually going to be I guess, book review or, um, showing of these books. I wanted to talk about the Scary Stories books because I had these laying around, upstairs in the movie room, and I almost forgot that I had them because I was, digging through some stuff, and they just kind of like fell over, and I'm just like, oh my god, I couldn't believe I had these. The Scary Stories books are nostalgic for me because I remember reading these during school. Like in class, I would be bored a lot. Actually, it didn't matter what subject I was in; I just wasn't interested in what was going on. So I would, take these books out and read the stories, and I love the stories, and the illustrations are great. Um, this is retold by Alvin Schwartz and drawings by Stephen Gamble. Now, they did a movie based on the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, which was great. They took a lot of the stories from these books and made a movie out of it, and I always wish they would do that, and they finally did it. But these stories, like, um, they just would kind of make the hair stand up on my arm. Like, I would read like the Goosebumps books, and to me, it's like they didn't have the same effect as these did. Um, I don't know if there are more, but there are currently three here. I haven't seen any more, but yeah, you have Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Then you have more Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Then you have Scary Stories 3, More Tales to Chill Your Bones. And what I kind of wanted to do is go over these and show you guys like some of the favorites of mine, um, when it comes to the stories here. The Big Toe, that is one story that I really love, where this kid is digging up a toe, brings it back, and wants it, to make it for supper, and puts it into the. Uh, oh wait, no, he takes it to his mom. Okay, he takes it to his mom, and she's like, "It looks nice and plump, and we'll put it in the soup, and we'll have it." What kind of mom is this? Like, honestly, this kid brings a toe to his mother, and she's okay with it. I mean, I guess if you live on a farm, you have chickens' feet and pigs' feet and all that stuff. And maybe they eat feet and toes. But I mean, this is a toe. This looks like a human toe. There's the toes right there. I mean, this mom must be twisted. But anyway, she cuts it up, and then this boy hears a voice at night saying, "Where is my toe? Where is my toe?" That's kind of a creepy story. It really is, and I mean, it's stupid. A toe, like this kid, you know. But I mean, I don't know. It has an effect. That was a good one. Then there's one called The Walk. The Walk, which that's a pretty good one. Uh, what do you come for? There's some feet hanging out of the chimney there. An old woman who's lived by herself is very lonely. She says she wishes she had some company, and then all of a sudden a body falls out. That's crazy. Uh, Me Tai Doti Walker. I think it's Me Tai Doti Walker. Me Tai Doti Walker. This one kind of creeped me out. I'm getting, man. It's either cold in here or I'm getting chills. I keep thinking that I'm hearing that voice in the, because that's what this story. Um, there's a haunted house every night that where a bloody head fell out of the chimney. At least that's what people say. No one has been able to stay there overnight. So after midnight, this person hears someone singing softly and sadly in the woods, singing something like this: "Me Tai Doti Walker." Someone singing in the woods. I'm scared right now. I have woods. not even a block that way. In a cemetery, about 20 feet, 25 feet that way. My windows are closed, so I won't hear nothing. If I hear any kind of singing, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I tell you what, these stories, God, look at this one. He heard footsteps coming up the cellar stairs. I don't like anything that has to do with basements and cellar stairs going up to the basement door. I don't like that. Well, here's one called The Thing. Now, you would think that this has something to do with the, like the John Carpenter's The Thing kind of, story, but it's not. There's um, this man that appears in the field, and these kids keep seeing him stare at him, and he walks up, and then he walks back, and then he walks further, and then he walks back. So one of the kids touches him and ends up dying. I'm going to try and touch it, and we'll know if it's real. He walked up, peered into its face, and its bright, penetrating eyes sunk deep in its head. It looked like a skeleton. He took one look and screamed. Um, a year later, Ted got sick and died. Toward the end, Sam sat up with him every night. That's crazy, dude. Ugh. The haunted house. Now that's one that really bothered me about the priest who sits in front of the door and he hears footsteps coming up the cellar stairs, and there's this woman that look at that. Look at that. Can you imagine sitting in front of the cellar stairs or the door and then coming up the stairs and the door knob turns slowly and then the door opens and you see this? I'm not going to sleep tonight. Nope, not going to sleep. The guests, these people take refuge at this house, and when they leave the house, they find out that that house was actually burnt down. So they were in like a ghost house. Um, really, really cool. Man, the girl who stood on a grave. Now that's kind of like a urban legend where you stand on a grave and like there's like a knife on it and like you can't move. It feels like someone's pulling you down. Uh, Man, there's so many good stories in this, guys. It's so cool, man. There's another urban legend called the hook that appears on the car door handle. Um, High beams, which is another urban legend, which was in the movie Urban Legend, with the person with the axe or the knife in the back seat. The babysitter, which is another one, which kind of is like when a stranger calls, when they get phone calls. Um, Man, I love these stories, guys. Look at this illustration. The attic. Man, these stories are fantastic. Like honestly, um, these books, like if you can get your hands on them, definitely do so. Here we have more scary stories, which has some really good ones too. Let's see if I can find Something Was Wrong. Um, that's a story about a guy who's actually dead and he doesn't know it, and people are looking at him funny. Um, that's a really good one. Then there's one called The Wreck, which has to do with a girl who died in a car wreck. Um, Sounds, that's a good one. Weird Blue Light, Little Black Dog, Clinkety Clink, about the woman who needs her coins, which is kind of like the one where she's looking, or the voice is looking for the big toe. That's kind of like that one. Um, that's a creepy one. Then there's The Bride. That's a good story too. Um, The Drum. That's a good one. The Window. That one's about a vampire. Wonderful Sausage. That one. Samuel Blunt. Let's see. A fat, jolly butcher named Samuel had an argument over money with his wife. He lost his temper and killed her, and then ground her up into sausage meat and buried her bones under the big flat rock in the backyard. He told everyone she moved away. He mixed his new sausage with pork and then seasoned it with salt and pepper. Kept it in a smokehouse and he called it his special sausage. Um, this was so he starts to like kill people. A nice plump school teacher came into a shop. He grabbed her and ground her up. A dentist came by. He was a little round man, and then into the grinder he went. Man, Mr. Blunt. Uh, Great stories, man. I love these. Some of them have like a charm to them. The Ghost in the Mirror. Um, that is the Bloody Mary kind of thing. Mary Worth, who's also known as Mary Jane in Bloody Mary. She's a heroine of the old comic strip, and some actually say she was a witch who was hanged in the Salem witch trials in 1692. They even talk about La Llorona. La Llorona, I don't know how you say that. Anyway, that's a cool story there. A lot of good ones, man. Cemetery Soup, which is just like the big toe. This lady finds a bone sticking up out of the ground, and she says this will make a good soup bone, so she takes it home and puts it in the soup. And then there's this voice that says, "Give me back my bone," which is like the big toe. So it's the same thing there, but I don't know. It's kind of creepy, I guess, in some ways. In the third book, some good stories here too. I don't know. I like all three books. The Appointment. This is about like death, like the kind of reminds me of like Final Destination. Like there you can see like the Grim Reaper there, and it's like he has an appointment. This person has an appointment with death. The Bus Stop, Just Delicious. Also about a guy who loved to eat, and his wife was timid and afraid of him, so he bought a pound of liver for her to cook for him. And let's see, she told, or this lady dies, and there was an open coffin, and when his wife began to cook the liver, she cut off a small piece and tasted it. It was so delicious that she ate a second piece, and then it was so good she couldn't stop eating it. And then she noticed the liver was all gone and that her husband would be coming home soon and he'd be mad. So what does she do? She remembered the old woman in the coffin lying in the church next door waiting to be buried. So that's how she gets a new liver. That is a crazy story there. Here's one called Footsteps, where this person hears footsteps walking around in the kitchen and out the front door and stuff like that. Oh, there's the famous one, Harold, which appears in the movie, Harold the Scarecrow, which actually comes to life. Man, I'm getting shivers right now. I don't know what's. Look at this. Can you guys see this? Look at the goosebumps. I have hairy arms, but look at that. Can you guys see the goosebumps on there? Look at my forearm. I have goosebumps. I don't. Here's one about a witch, which is a very good one. Man, I tell you, The Dream with the pale face lady. This also appears in the movie as well. That image right there always burned into my brain. If I woke up one night and saw her standing there, I honestly would shit my pants. The Red Spot, which also appears in the movie, about this girl thinks she has a zit, but it gets bigger, and all of a sudden it pops, and all these little spiders come out. Really, really cool, man. Um, it yeah, there's some good ones here, man. These are, I think almost every story is good. It's just, yeah, these guys, these books are worth it. If you can get your hands on these, definitely get them. The Scary Stories books. I just wanted to kind of go over these a little bit and go over some of my favorites out of the books. But yeah, these weren't expensive at all. I think they were like $4 or something a piece, something like that. Maybe cheaper than that. But yeah, I used to carry these in my book bag, and when during study hall, or even during, like I said, during like a class lecture or anything, I wasn't even paying attention. I was reading these. Um, that really kept my interest a lot more. So, and you could say, well, I was probably into horror still before reading these, but these actually were part of me getting into that genre of horror movies and like horror things. So, yeah, these are really cool books. Um, like I said, get your hands on them. Definitely pick them up. Let me know in the comments if you've read these books and what you think of some of the stories. I'll be back with more videos, kind of showing you different things in my collection, like I showed you these books. And yeah, so stay tuned for more videos. This is Rob signing off, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I swear to God, I keep. Oh no, that's a train whistle. Oh my God. I heard this faint sound. Really faint sound. I don't think you guys can hear it. Can you hear that? Like, there it goes. Listen, that's a train. It's got to be. At the time, I wasn't really thinking about it. When I heard it, I'm like, oh God, now I'm hearing a faint sound, like in the distance. Me, Ty, Walker. Oh shit.